Okay, I think we are on. So, hello everyone. Welcome to a new episode of the Hardcore FBB podcast. My name is Claudio, your host, and I'm here with me, a special guest. We've got IFBB Pro Women's Physique and Olympian competitor Romana Skotzen. Hi, Romana.
Hello.
Thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I've just been training today and then been waiting for this to start. So, yeah, it's been a good day so far.
Oh, excellent. You train in the morning, usually?
Normally, yeah, anywhere between 9 and 12 are my happy times to train.
Okay, between 9 and 12. All right, excellent. So I would like to start having you to give us an update about this season. How was this season? I know you competed in America as well. So how was that experience? The emotions on stage and the plans for next season. If you would like to tell us a little bit about this, would be great.
So yeah, I competed twice. I did Atlanta and then Chicago, and I was planning on doing more shows.
Atlanta and Chicago.
Yeah, I was planning on doing more shows, but unfortunately I actually strained my abdominals whilst I was on stage at Atlanta.
Ouch.
It was very painful.
On stage, you got it.
Yeah. After the first round of comparisons, I couldn't feel my midsection. I didn't know what my abs were doing. I didn't know if they were tense. I didn't know if I had a vacuum, and a lot of pain. Still had a really good time on stage. Between pre-judging and finals, my partner was trying to help release because it actually went round into my back as well. So he was trying to release some of that pain. Went back on for finals. Obviously came fifth at Atlanta. Was really full look. We probably peaked Friday night rather than Saturday morning, unfortunately. And then we went on to Chicago the next week, and I had to adjust a lot of my poses within that week to manage the pain I had in my abdomen. I couldn't open up. I couldn't rotate my hips to open my hips up properly. Chicago, we brought a much leaner look. We didn't carb up as hard, and it's probably the best condition, or it is the best condition I've ever been in ever. And again, fifth place. Still haven't got feedback from those shows, sadly. But the biggest thing I had was I emailed, but I haven't had a reply yet. But the biggest bit of feedback was I walked into registration and Jack Sullivan, this is at Chicago, was like, "Oh, women's bodybuilding's over there." So I was like, "I'm women's physique." He was like, "Oh, okay." So we're wondering whether condition and size, or density more than size, because I'm not the biggest, but the muscle density is different. We're wondering whether women's bodybuilding should actually be the direction we were going in. So the plan was, we got back to the UK, and I was going to continue prep and do the UK show in women's bodybuilding, but the pain I was in and how it was affecting my posing, there was no point continuing with a prep with this injury, because it was affecting my training, it was affecting my sleep, it was affecting my recovery, everything. So yeah, we came out of prep, reversed into off season, and yeah, the plan going forward next year will probably be to do both women's physique and women's bodybuilding. See where I fare in each of them. But yeah, potentially do my women's bodybuilding debut in Romania next year. So we'll see.
Next year, yeah. Yeah, that sounds like a great plan. I mean, you've already had a really successful career in women's physique. You are an Olympian athlete, but if you feel like you're going towards that sort of division and that sort of shape, why not giving it a go and and see how the judges place you. So maybe you
exactly.
You will have a new path waiting for you. Yeah,
exactly. It would. The plan was never to intentionally transition to women's bodybuilding, but my partner, who's also my coach, we talked about it, and it was, if it happens naturally, it happens naturally. But we're not pushing for it.
True.
But I want to test the waters in that division and see where I sit. It will give, you know, a good amount of indication as to where I should be going after next year. It's almost that needing to test the water to kind of then formulate a plan moving forward for sort of 2026.
So you were saying, that next season you're planning to get back on stage in Romania, right? So you will take. So Romania is in 1 year time, in November.
Yeah.
So are you taking whole
the August Romania show?
The August, the one in Cluj-Napoca. They do. Yeah. They normally do at the end of August, not in Bucharest, but in the other location. Yeah. Okay. That's good. But no other shows you're planning at the moment. So you're focusing on this one.
We're sort of, obviously we're waiting for the calendar to come out, but the plan will be to probably do, if there's a UK show again next year, then that will definitely be, because the opportunity to compete on home soil would just be fantastic. True. Fingers crossed for a UK show. Romania, and then potentially Texas, Arizona, but it all depends on funds, because it's not cheap.
I can imagine. But I mean, I was very, very glad when this year I saw that show in London. I live in London as well, so it was really, really good to have it on the UK soil. So especially for you and other athletes, you don't have to travel on the other side of the world or somewhere in Europe. So it would be great if from now on we have at least once a year a good show for Olympia qualifier here in the UK. Yeah, that would be great. So, yep.
I was just going to say they do seem to have. They'll put on bikini, men's physique, classic physique throughout the year, but there's not so many of the more muscular female categories. So it would be, if they could have figure, WPD and women's bodybuilding again next year, that'd be amazing.
True. Yeah. Because I guess in the UK, probably the last time I saw the bigger divisions on stage here, I think it was at the Arnold's 2 or 3 years ago. There were women's physique, and then they removed it, unfortunately, which was such a shame. But I hope this time it's the beginning of a new.
Fingers crossed.
A new era of pro events in the UK. I mean, the event has been great. I really enjoyed it. Just the location, Heathrow, is not very easy to reach for most people, but I guess people who fly is convenient. Maybe, I don't know. But
it was quite convenient for us. It was only an hour and a half. Time delay.
For you it's 1 hour and a half.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. And also, there was really good judging line. Tyler Mannion was here as well, so it looks like the lineup on all the categories were fantastic. So I enjoyed every single division. So it was great.
I was really sad. I actually missed women's bodybuilding because I think they did pre-judging and finals like one after the other, and it was just I was in the toilet and I missed it.
Who missed it?
Gutty.
You missed it. Well, to be fair, I missed the pre-judging of women's bodybuilding. I mean, I arrived towards the end, so I missed all the call outs.
I think I was actually talking to you. I think that's why I missed it.
Oh yes, you're right. I was talking to you. Yeah, true. Because as soon as I got in, I was like, what? Because there were supposed to be the fitness girls, right? But I think there were only one or two, so they did very quickly. And then I got inside. Yeah.
Gone.
True. Yeah, we missed it for the same reason.
Yeah.
But you were there for the finals, right?
No, so... I watched finals of WPD, and then we'd been there to watch the amateurs as well. I had a couple of posing clients doing the amateurs, so we'd been at the venue since 9 a.m. and it was like 8:30, I think we left. So we watched the finals for WPD, and then we went home because it was getting. We're not good at staying up late. We're normally in bed by about 9 o'clock, so we needed to get home.
Well, fair enough. I mean,
yeah.
You've got your routine, so you need to get your hours of sleep. You need to get your routine keep going, and you don't want to start breaking it. Then after, I mean, almost 12 hours there, I think. You've seen it enough.
Very over socialed, lots of talking. It was great to see everybody, but it's a long old day.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's fun. Especially when it's a great chance to catch up with lots of people. And I had the chance to meet many people that I spoke only on the Instagram, like you and Dan, for example. So it was great. It was great to catch up. Yeah. I wanted to ask you, you've been competing, of course, in the UK, probably as an amateur in the UK, and then you did your pro shows in Spain, if I remember correctly. You did it in America. So, do you notice, or did I miss something?
I
somewhere else.
I actually, because I turned pro in figure, so I pro debuted in 2021 in figure, in Poland and then Budapest. So I did those two shows, and it was
Budapest.
2023 was Toronto Pro, and then this year was America.
Yeah. Well, and of course, you did the Olympia last year.
Yes.
And did you notice difference being on all these stages around the world? Do you notice if there is more hype in America or in Europe, especially for women's physique divisions or figure? Did you notice any difference?
So I think it's probably easier to talk about the WPD shows, because the figure shows was the tail end of the pandemic. So there was obviously a lot of travel restrictions. But with WPD shows from 2023, it was, everything's been open. As far as production, audience, hype around the show, it has to be Pro. That was just incredible. The venue was stacked. It was so busy, and even for WPD, it was. I just remember being on stage, looking at the audience, and it was like standing room only. Every seat was taken, and the production that Emilio puts on is fantastic, and that's not doing a disservice to the other shows. It was just, if anyone's been to a show of Emilio's, you'll know what I mean. The lighting, the production, the stage,
everything is perfect.
It's incredible.
True. I was actually in Alicante in June for the Empro. I flew there to see the show, and it was packed. I mean, there was one single seat available. I remember when I came back for the finals in the afternoon, there were no seats, so I had to stand. It was, but it was brilliant because such a great turnout, such a great vibe, the stage, the venue, the crowd as well. So I was very, very happy to see that, and also, I mean, the women's physique, women's bodybuilding divisions, they were very popular over there, and the amount of people there to support the athletes was mind-blowing. Really, it was great.
My only criticism about Empro was there was no aircon in the building, so it was so hot on that stage.
You're right.
So hot.
You're right.
At registration, I was feeling quite unwell the night before the show because it was that hot. You know, at least the majority of the American venues, they have aircon, which is a lifesaver when you're under all those stage lights.
Yeah. But when it's this hot, will the tan stay on, or it tends to melt if it's that hot?
It was 38 degrees in Atlanta, and the tan stayed on.
38.
I know.
Oh, okay. 38 degrees on stage.
Well, I don't know about on. There wasn't the best aircon in the building at Atlanta, but it was cooler than Empro. It sounds. The worst bit is when you've got a lot of hair and it's down. It just gets even hotter, and then the glaze and the sweat gets stuck to your hair. I ended up tying it up at Atlanta because I was like, I'm too hot. I'm just too hot. But no, the tan did seem to stay on pretty well.
I can imagine. I mean, I think they should do something about it, especially if they decided to continue doing the shows in the middle of summer. I mean, it's June, right? Yeah. So it's very... Alicante is very hot city, so they need to maybe do something. But apart from that, it was really
brilliant,
really good show. I really enjoyed.
With Empro being the show I qualified for the Olympia, I think it's always going to have a very special place in my heart, regardless of how hot it was. It's just to qualify at that show with that production, it was just insane.
And also at Empro or the main European shows, Empro, Romania, Portugal, the lineups are really tough, because of course you've got all the best in Europe that wants to compete and get that spot for the Olympia. So it's even harder to qualify for the Olympia in this show. But sorry?
Sadly wasn't to be this year, but am I still there?
Sorry, I can't hear you. Can you say again?
Oh, I was going to say, sadly, qualification wasn't to be this year, but fingers crossed for next year.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. Qualifying for the Olympia is the ultimate goal for every athlete, and it's not something that it goes for granted. Even if you already competed, qualified the year before, but keep on going. Next year, maybe you may be on stage with Andrea Shaw and Angie Yeo. Yeah, you never know. If you see that women's bodybuilding is your division, you could be on that stage. And by the way, because this is the Olympia week, it
is.
I think we got 3 days left. Do you have any predictions for WPD and WBB? What do you think?
Dan and I were actually talking about this. We had a long drive to go and support clients in a show on Saturday, and we were actually talking about this. So I think Sarah's still going to take first, but I wonder if Buenta is going to creep
Sarah Villegas,
I wonder if Buenta's going to creep up into that second place spot and knock Natalia down to third. I wonder if I don't know if Buenta can topple Sarah at this point, but I think she's really chomping at their heels.
Yeah. I've seen a couple of pictures recent from her. Yeah, she looks incredible. While I didn't see anything about Natalia, she went very, very low profile. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, yeah, there were people even wondering, is she still competing?
really?
I don't know. I think so, but yeah.
Now you mention it, I've not had much pop up on my Instagram from her either. I mean, Sarah she flies low on the radar anyway. But last year, Natalia, it was a lot of posts. But there doesn't seem to have been the same volume this year. But whether that's the Instagram algorithm playing tricks on me, I'm not sure.
Well, but to be honest, yeah, she hasn't posted much lately, so there's no updates, nothing. So I think we will find out on Friday, but so far she's still in the lineup, so we will see.
I'd really like to see Elena Alvarez in that top 10. I think she very much
yes, she just
deserves that.
Yeah, she just qualified. Yeah, she's a great. She was at the Olympia last year, right? It was her first Olympia, and she managed to qualify again.
But I think she's thinking about it. I think that's for 2025. I don't think it's for this year, as I've said that.
Oh, yes, you are right.
She did Daytona, didn't she?
2025.
Yeah.
Which one she did? The Daytona?
Daytona, yeah.
Yeah, that one is for next year. You're right.
Yeah.
She cannot compete this year. Yeah.
No.
But she's a great, incredible athlete.
She is really cool. Her back is insane.
Absolutely. Yeah, another one that I think could be placing on top rank. I believe it's the Brazilian girl, Zama.
Oh yes, yeah.
I think she got third last year. Yeah, I've seen some videos and pictures of her condition. Yeah, she's insane. Yeah.
I think that's who I think's going to. I think I'd called her by her first. I get confused which is her first and her second name. So I think I said Buenta, but it's Zama, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's Zama and Benta the last name, I believe.
Yeah, that's who I think's going to beat Natalia if Natalia's there this year. Yeah, it's just bizarre not seeing her.
Yeah. I mean, to beat that sort of condition is not easy. So we will see. We will see on Friday. Yeah.
And I'm sure Barbara will be in that top 10.
Are you gonna stay? Oh, Barbara. Yeah. Barbara. I think she's gonna be on the first call out, and for sure she's gonna be placing very high. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. So we will see. The only thing, it's a shame. I know a couple of athletes couldn't make it because of visa issues. So like the other Brazilian, Carol Alves.
Oh, really?
She cannot travel.
Because she beat Barbara at Portugal, didn't she?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah. She came first and Barbara second. But unfortunately, I think she qualified twice this or once.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But last year as well. Last year I think she did 2 victories, but apparently she qualified 4 times for the Olympia and never managed to go because of visa. Frustrating.
That's got to be just heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking.
I know. Especially if you work hard, because that's the ultimate goal for every bodybuilder. To compete at the top level. In being prevented from competing because of just visa issues, which is for us that we've got, I've got EU and British passport. You have British passport. For us, it's easier, but I guess for some countries, like also Nastenka, she cannot go for visa issue. Yeah, the Russian lady, which she would have placed on top 3, top 4, I don't know, but she's got great and cannot compete again for the 3rd time. But,
crazy, isn't it? You think as professional athletes there would be some sort of mitigation? It's not, they've got a reason to be in the country to compete. Exactly.
I don't know how the visa application works. If you need a sponsor, if coming from, but I believe the IFBB would sponsor somehow the athletes to get to
because they do say they can.
I don't know how it works.
They did. I remember the information I got last year. There was something about if you needed a letter to evidence why you were in the country, they would provide that for you, but maybe that's not enough from certain countries. I don't know, I'm not up on the travel politics of America.
No, me neither, but what you're saying makes sense. They could provide the letter, but sometimes it's not enough. There's a lot of politics, like it's more a geopolitics and international sometimes conflicts, especially coming from Russia. Those countries can be
political, isn't it?
Problem, especially because there are lots of great Russian athletes, and they cannot do much. But anyway, it is what it is. Going back to you, going back to you. I wanted to ask you, just a second. Yes, I wanted to know how's your passion for bodybuilding started? When did you fall in love with the sport? When did you decide to I want to compete? What was the motivation that brought you into the sport?
So I've always trained. I've always done something. Hockey, athletics, swimming, growing up. In around 2011, CrossFit landed in the UK, and I got properly hooked. Properly hooked on CrossFit. Did it for what?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah,
6 years or so. And I'd moved from London back to south of the UK, back to sort of Bournemouth area. Just had enough of working in the city. And I joined this gym in Bournemouth called South Coast Powerhouse to just kind of keep my CV up around CrossFit and around my shift work. And wandered into the gym, and this little Canadian PT comes running up to me, she's a wellness pro now actually, Brittany Soriano. She was like, oh my god, have you ever competed? And I was like, no, sequins are not for me, no. I'm a CrossFitter, Olympic lifting, burpees, that's my jam. Anyway, about 2 months later, I severed a nerve in my hand, destoning an avocado. I literally put the knife through the webbing in my hand and severed a nerve. So I had 8 weeks off work. I had to have surgery, and I couldn't CrossFit because of the gripping that you obviously use so much in CrossFit. So
the grip is very important.
After about 3 weeks, I got bored, and I said to Brittany, this PT, I was like, right, come on, let's do it. Let's do a prep. So we started prep the 27th of June 2018. 12 weeks later, I got on stage in one of the smaller federations in the UK. Did not know what I was doing, did not know how to pose, didn't realise there was a routine involved until the day. So I stood on stage for a minute just doing my quarters really badly. But I loved it, absolutely loved it. So I carried on CrossFitting alongside bodybuilding until lockdown, basically. When lockdown happened, CrossFit went out the window.
Yeah.
And that was actually the year I managed to turn pro. So after my pro win, it was like, well, I definitely can't go back to CrossFit now. So yeah, it was more or less 2 years between first stepping on stage and turning pro in bodybuilding, and I've never gone back to CrossFit since.
All right. So you've never even done one session once in a while, just to keep. So bodybuilding took completely your.
Yeah, 2019.
Fair enough.
I did a CrossFit competition 2 weeks out from the amateur Olympia in 2019, but I had the passion for bodybuilding, but I still had the passion for CrossFit. And 2020 came along, and my coach at the time was like, "You've got the opportunity to get a pro card if you keep pushing, but you need to kind of make a decision." And it was then that I was like, "Do you know what? I'm a lot better bodybuilder than I ever was a CrossFitter," and it paid. It paid off. You know, ditching CrossFit, turning pro, it paid off.
Yeah. And also, I guess CrossFit gave you that foundation on your physique to start and molding it into a bodybuilder. Yeah, am I correct? Yeah. So
we laugh about it because basically my back was built by CrossFit. Because when I transitioned to bodybuilding,
I can imagine,
like just my back. Everything else needed to come out.
Guess,
my back was good.
Yeah, I guess all those pull-ups in CrossFit, really worked. So Olympic lifting, those are shrugs, yeah. Do you still do sometimes some Olympic weightlifting?
I have tinkered in the past, just by doing, trying to do some cleans, trying to do some snatch, but it's that risk of injury that's just not worth it now. I don't think my shoulder could cope with doing a snatch now. Oof.
Yeah, I think on this, bodybuilding is a safer option in terms of movement. So you need to do things quickly and just to try to beat the number of reps within the shortest time. You are more focused on the form. So it's more difficult. I mean, you can still get injuries, but compared to CrossFit, it's safer. Let's put it this way. Yeah.
I think because of my history with CrossFitting, that's why I have so many niggles now. So I have to be very smart with my training, and I use tempo and tension rather than excessive weight, because my body just can't cope with the load anymore. Unfortunately, and being nearly 40 doesn't help either. Just getting old, everything starts hurting.
I get it. I'm in my 40s as well. I don't lift what I used to in the past. I'm still training, but it's harder. It's harder. But the important, it's keep going. Training is good, no matter what level, no matter what the goal is. It's always good. I don't compete, but I wouldn't feel myself if I don't train. And I've been doing it since I was 18, so it's something that is part of my routine. Even though I admire a lot people who compete, like yourself and all the athletes it's just that I'm not for the stage. I have this stage fright. I can't. But
training,
I like to support the athletes.
Training sort of becomes integral with your personality after you've done it for a certain amount of time. You kind of, Dan and I were talking again on our long drive back. What would after bodybuilding look like for us? And I'll probably go back to doing some form of CrossFit because of the functionality and the sort of social aspect of it. But we both know we will continue to do some form of training, probably not as many days a week, not as longer sessions, but there'll be some form of training in our lives post bodybuilding, because it just becomes part of your DNA after a while, doesn't it?
Of course, yeah. And also, now you were telling me when I spoke to you at the Europa Pro, you were telling me that you quit your job as a paramedic to dedicate full time to bodybuilding and also coaching. Yeah, would you like to tell us a little bit about this decision?
Yeah, so I started working for the ambulance service in 2005. So it was just around my 20th birthday.
2005.
I started working for the ambulance service. I worked in London for 13 years on the ambulances. I worked in no other way to describe it, but London's terrorism response unit. So London Bridge terror attack, Finsbury Park terror attack.
Oh, yeah.
That sort of thing. It was quite high stress. So had enough of London, moved back to the South Coast, carried on working in the South Coast until, August last year. And then I left the ambulance service and went into disability assessing. And I did that for about 6 months and absolutely hated it, if I'm honest. It was far worse than the ambulance service. And we actually moved.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a very high stress, very high workload, long days, no breaks. You're on the phone for 3 hours. You can't even go to the toilet. It's not. If you're a bodybuilder, don't become a disability assessor because it will just completely mess with your day. So I mean, prepping for the Olympia last year,
I can imagine.
I was getting up at 4, doing my cardio, training fasted, starting work at 8:30, not finishing until 5:30. My lunch break was an hour. I was over the gym doing cardio, and then still had to finish cardio after work and then meal prep. So it was hectic.
Yeah,
but I quit the disability assessor job in April because last year we moved back to Dan's parents. So we've got our own property on his parents' land. We've got the private gym facility here, and by doing that move. Yeah, we're sort of in his parents' pockets, but they're lovely and they're really supportive. But it's meant that we don't have rent to pay, basically. So I don't need to be working my full-time paramedic job to afford to live. So it's just been the opportunity to be able to 100% focus and go all in on bodybuilding. And, you know, my friends have said to me for a long time, you've done this amount of progress whilst working a rotating shift pattern. If you could focus on bodybuilding only, you'd be dangerous. And now's the time to really do that. So yeah, it's a very privileged, lucky, and I'm so grateful for the position I'm in right now to be able to really focus on bodybuilding and see what I can do being in it 100% of the time.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I mean, and you're doing what you love. So basically, it's a win-win situation. So it's great. It's great, and it's going well. You've got an amazing career, and with lots of great successes coming up soon. So yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
Also, you were telling me that Dan is also your coach, right?
Yes. So he.
So how is he working? Yeah. How does it work? I mean,
so
I guess it's much more convenient. Yeah.
Yes, basically, after Empro, he took over coaching. It was that we weren't sure how it would work, being that we live together, we're in a relationship together. Would the coaching be too much? And we were actually in the airport waiting for the flight back from Empro, and we had a really kind of honest discussion about how it would look if he were to take over my coaching, and what we would have to do to kind of separate the athlete-partner relationship, because I was very mindful that I didn't want him coaching me to affect our relationship as a couple. So We have a separate WhatsApp chat, which is just our coaching. I still have my Google Sheets from him, like every other client has. We check in, we still record it, video it, so that because we didn't want any data to be lost by just having conversations. Any changes he does, it goes on the WhatsApp group, it goes on my sheets, so that we're still collecting that data. He was doing my training already. He took over my training before we actually became a couple, back in around April, May 2022. So the progress I've made with my physique is so much down to his training. And it was like, well, if you've done that with my training, what can we do if you've got complete charge of drugs, recovery, food, when I train, everything. So yeah, we have the separate WhatsApp group, and that kind of keeps it separate. We don't tend to. We'll have little conversations about what we want to do next or what we think should happen. But as far as our kind of coach-athlete relationship, most of it happens on WhatsApp. We'll talk about what shows we might want to do or the schedule for next year, because he's a competitor himself. Yep. So we have to work out when he's going to compete versus when I'm going to compete, because I refuse to travel to a different country with him on prep. We laugh. He's got a master's degree in geography, but the man cannot find his way around an airport to save his life. So if we were both on prep, it would just be a nightmare. So yeah, we'll have conversations about that. But anything to do with any changes, anything that's happening with the here and now as far as my coaching, it goes in the WhatsApp group or the WhatsApp chat, and then it gets left alone until next week. So
you have a record of everything.
Yep.
Excellent.
And this off season we're planning on, and we've already started. So normally we train at the same time, but my split slightly changed. So I now train on one of his rest days. So on his rest day, he's coming over the gym and he's putting me through the session, which isn't something we've done before. So having those eyes on me while I'm training and having him there spotting me, I'm hoping will give me that extra edge with my training that I haven't had with it in the past. So that'll be exciting.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Yeah, sounds like everything is working perfectly. So
yeah.
awesome. Yeah. And so you also have a posing coaching business, right?
Yeah.
So does it mean that sorry?
I was just saying yes.
I lost you.
Oh
yeah, okay. Yeah, so do you so I guess you self-coach yourself for posing. So if you're gonna do women's bodybuilding, you're gonna do that as well. Yeah. So you're studying the different posing routines, so you're gonna be ready for next year, I guess. Yeah.
Dan's helping me with some of the tweaks with some of the bodybuilding poses, because obviously men's bodybuilding, women's bodybuilding, I think the only pose women's bodybuilders don't do as part of their mandatory is the most muscular, sadly, because I love that pose.
Yeah.
But
it's brilliant. Yeah.
I've had posing coaching for figure in the past, and my women's physique posing, I went to one posing coach before Toronto, and it was a good session, but it's hard in the UK to find really good women's physique posing coaches. I used to go to Donna Murphy, but I think she's sort of taken a big step away from bodybuilding, which I completely understand. So I've not found anybody I can myself go to whose style I relate to, that I can go to for posing coaching. So most of my knowledge has come from, I'm very good at watching and repeating, so it's utilising that. But posing routines is where my heart lies. I love training, but the creativity that a posing routine offers you, with the ability to express your personality through the music and through the movement, That's what excites me. So yeah, that's my jam. I love. I had actually quite a few people come to me through routines since competing in Chicago, and that was really exciting, really cool. Love it.
Yeah, I can. That's great. Yeah, so you're making connections as well. So that's very important. And I wanted to ask you a question that I ask everyone. What is it? Is there anything, if you could, is there anything you would like to change in bodybuilding? Something that maybe could be a rule, could be some, could be anything about the environment, the sport, the judging, anything, could be anything. If there is one thing you could, like for example, for me, one thing I would like to see changing is the prizes for women should be exactly the same as men. This is one thing on my opinion. Yeah.
That is my big bugbear. It's, just looking across all the competitions, there's very few opportunities for a female bodybuilder or a women's physique competitor figure to earn more than $2,000 in prize money. And I think it's abhorrent how big the disparity is between the men's classes and the women's classes. And you can harp on all you like about, well, it's the men that draw people in. I'm sorry, but at Chicago, there was more people watching the women's bodybuilding than there was watching the men's open. It was packed. Men's open.
And I noticed that in a few,
Yeah.
So I noticed that in a few shows as well.
Their argument is, but it's the big open men that draw in the crowd, that draw in the ticket sales, that draw in the pay-per-view. Well, why aren't there bums on seats when they're on stage then? Again, like watching the prejudging for women's physique at the UK show, it was packed. It was still packed for men's open as well, but it was still packed for women's physique.
True.
So this argument, and it's it angers me because we're in 2024. We've already had a lot of publicity around the gender pay gap, about the disparity between male and female sports. Why is it happening so largely in bodybuilding? And I hate to say it, but I think
crazy.
There's a lot of attitude towards female with more muscle. I was subject of a quite nasty trolling about 10 days ago, which was fun, because of
I think I've seen one of your posts about it. Yeah.
I'm not going to name any names because I don't want to throw any more attention to that person. But for me, I'm very comfortable with the way I look. The way my voice is just one of those things. I've got a partner who loves me no matter whether I'm in prep, off season, whatever.
And that's the most important thing. Yeah, exactly.
There are lots of women out there who want to be bigger because that's what they feel they want to be, but they're almost scared because of this miscomprehension that you look like a man, you're not feminine, you're too masculine. And it's within the sport as well. There are certain podcasts that will joke about the virilization that female athletes have as a result of being a professional athlete. And I just think it's so cruel to joke about something that ultimately is so serious and so passionate for so many women. Like, we could make jokes about men losing their hair because of their usage, but we don't, because it's cruel. So why do it to women? That's my little rant.
Exactly. No, it's absolutely legit, because actually something that upset me as well, and I see some comments that are absolutely awful. I mean, the fact that some people can hide behind the profile and start going on people's Instagram page and making comments about, okay, if it's something you don't like, why do you feel the need to go and tell everyone? You don't know this person. You don't know what this person has gone through. You don't know the reason why this person is doing it. So why you have to go there? And this is trolling.
I can't remember who did it, but somebody has done a YouTube video about Meg Sylvester and her transition from bikini to figure, and how.
Oh yes, I've seen that.
They've gone.
It was terrible.
Oh, and it's like, to start off with, as a woman, you can choose however you want to look. Secondly, to put on that amount of muscle mass, there are going to be changes that occur to your body, but it's up to the individual whether they're happy with that or not. And quite clearly she is, otherwise she would have stopped. But why do you have to be derogatory about it and misgender somebody about it? It's their choice, and Meg still looks banging. It's not. It might not be somebody's idea of femininity. Well, actually, if you look up the definition of femininity, it's powerful, strength. You know, it's what you want it to be. It's not somebody on Instagram or YouTube dictating what a woman should be. It's up to the individual female how they want to be. Yeah, it just angers me.
I totally agree. And that thing about Meg Sylvester, the trolling on air. I remember seeing it, and it was awful, the things that... And I think it was a coach, the guy that was doing this, if I remember correct, which makes it even more... That was absolutely awful. And I think that these people that behave like that are just miserable people that don't have any... It's their way to feel better. I'm not sure how, but maybe they feel good when they insult people. But not face to face. They do it hidden behind a phone.
And it's like, her jaw, look at her face. It's like, obviously there's anabolics in play, but even as a natural bodybuilder, the amount of food you have to eat as a female to grow, it's going to mess with your jaw muscles. So you're going to get a thicker jaw just from eating before you even touch anabolics. So it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just ridiculous. But
it is. And that would be good if it would change at some point to have more admiration, more respect, which is something that is still not there. It's improved, I think, because there are more media channels dedicated
like
that respect and support. Pardon?
Like pages like yourself, your Instagram page.
Oh like channel. My page. Yeah. I want to bring like a positive message.
And it's really, really refreshing that it's coming from a supportive standpoint rather than what has been in the past, this kind of sexualization standpoint. So it's really, really cool to see.
That's another thing.
Instagram pages like yourself actually promoting us for being athletes, not for muscle work.
Exactly. No sexualization of the image. I don't post pictures just for random picture of muscular women just to get like. That's not the point. I want to value the person, the woman that is behind the athlete. And then, of course, because there are not many sources as well, so I want to provide information about competitions, about progress on each athlete, and always keeping like respectful and genuine. That's what I try to do, and what the female bodybuilding channel does. I'm gonna be in November. I should go to Romania, and I will be doing a coverage again of that show. Hopefully, with AJ of a female bodybuilding channel, we're gonna do some work together. So we wanna give that image, not because there are thousands of pages that just copy images and videos here and there, and same on YouTube. But what's the point for that? It's just a sexualization of some people, of some women, which there is much more from that. It's not it's there is a story. That's why I like doing this sort of interviews. It's more of a chat, but it's a nice way to hear the stories. And I've interviewed so far how many, 14 people, and each story is fascinating to know how they started, how they progressing, their feelings on stage, their emotions, their future, and it's great. And I like doing this and giving these opportunities to hear the voice directly from the athletes. And I thank you again for being here and accepting this.
Cool. More than
this call. It's really interesting, and hopefully we're gonna do more in the next few months, whenever you feel it's always great to hear updates and
more than happy
are going. We're nearly hitting the hour. I don't want to take too much of your time, but I just wanted to ask you about I know you are a regular guest on the Beyond podcast with Sarah Bradley and the other Sarah as well,
It's Sarah Bradley and Sarah Parker. It gets Sarah and Sarah. How I've
Sarah
not
Parker,
got the names
yes.
How I've not got the names mixed up is no, that's it's so much fun doing those podcasts. So much fun, and we've had so many cool guests, and we've got
listen to it.
We've got one planned hopefully Thursday this week, and then I think Sarah is working behind the scenes to try and get some of the Olympians that have been obviously tied up in prep, getting them hopefully on board in the next coming months, because nobody has the brain capacity really to do a podcast when they're a few weeks out from the Olympia, so that would be very exciting as well. But we've had some really good guests.
That's fantastic. I listen to the podcast. I love it. So looking forward. Actually, I'm gonna put the link in the description in this video. Guys, listen to the Beyond Beyond podcast, right? It's called.
It's Beyond Condition.
Beyond Condition, yes. Beyond Condition podcast.
Sarah I will put. It's Sarah's podcast. So she does a lot of interviews on just one-to-one. So she's done one with Nathan Stiles that was released on Monday, as well as loads of other really cool guests. And then we do Beyond Condition Roundtable. So it's me, Sarah, and Sarah, and then we normally have one guest on. Whether that's a bodybuilder, a women's physique competitor. We've got a natural pro coming on this week, which will be really interesting to sort of talk about the differences and the similarities between natural and enhanced bodybuilding. But they're always very thought-provoking, and it's about trying to spread the message that it's okay to be a female with more muscle, and to sort of give that safe space for women to realise that actually, whatever people say, but do what's true to yourself and what makes you happy. And there are people out there that will support you to do it. And that's what we wanted to do with it.
Exactly. Yes. People should do whatever they want with their life. It's their choice. It's their passion, and the external other people judgment, other people opinions don't matter. What matters is what you want to be with yourself, and be happy, because you can't be happy making happy other people. You have to be happy making happy yourself.
Spent 20 years doing that. In the ambulance service.
And keep going. You're doing an amazing job. Okay, so yeah, I think we've hit the hour. Before going, yeah, can I get a double bicep for the cover of the podcast? Yeah.
Just I'm trying to balance my laptop on my lap, so hopefully it doesn't fall off.
Oh right, yeah. It looks pretty balanced.
Yeah.
Nice.
From what you can see.
Excellent. This will go in the cover of this video.
Ah, wicked.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much, Romana. It was amazing having you as a guest.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. And
really good fun.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And say hi to Dan. Of course, he's a great guy. So
he's been shut out. Fantastic. So otherwise, he has a tendency to just come and join me midway through.
Oh, excellent! Yeah, fantastic. I will post the podcast in the next, maybe tomorrow or the day after, within the next 2 days, and I will tag you once it's ready.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Cool. Thank again, you. Romana. Have a lovely day, and I will speak to you soon. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ciao. Bye-bye.
Bye.